So this Seret is the facade of the White House. This is the name, Neb-Ra, Master of Light, Master of Wisdom. And he is Haru. So every ruler in Kemet was depicted as Haru, the great falcon. Now the question should be, the action is, why Haru? Why the great falcon? Why isn't he the great lion? The great falcon. Sometimes he was depicted as what they call the great lion. But the falcon is the fastest creature on the planet Earth. Pelican falcon can go 285 miles per hour. You ever been in a car just going 100?
Faster than
285. And he can descend on top of his prey. A mouse hiding under a leaf. And he's a mile in the sky. So jet pilots and bombers are trying to imitate the falcon. He's the only creature that can look directly at the sun.
Wow,
you heard extra eyelid. That's like looking at God, looking at the Creator. He can go underwater 40 meters to catch a fish. Comes up with fish in his tie lines. And he's dry. Aerodynamics. Okay. But now, my favorite thing is that every creature on the planet, when there's a storm, seeks shelter. Except for the falcon. He flies above it. He can hover in the sky for 5 miles without even moving his wings. Reading the currents. Okay? So now the king wants you to think, I gotta do that. Right? So I'm a great falcon. So if you understand nature, and the brother said, I'm a falcon, you're like, yeah, man, you got this. Okay? Ain't no like, well, let me see. No, you know. So every king, their first name is a Haru name. Okay, Shemsu Haru, followers of Haru. So I want that to be clear. See, this is what we call symptomatic thought. I'm not saying just memorize this. That's Haru. No, I'm telling you why it's Haru, so that you are clear about it. Any questions on this? This is made of pink granite. I'm going to be telling you the names of the stones, because that's important also. They chose this. You see the sparkle in it? There's crystals in there. This is charged. This is a generator. Okay, so I'm trying to show you energy also. It's like Hitler just adopted the swastika. That was an ancient symbol already used. Hitler also adopted the falcon. The eagle became the symbol of Nazi Germany. So, no, it had nothing to do with the Star of David. In fact, David is a mythological creature that never even really lived. Was
it Benjamin's idea though?
Yes. This is the pink granite again. Remember I said, why did he depict himself as a lion? Well, all the rulers also depicted themselves as a lion. And later you'll see that sometimes they will put the human face on the lion's body. That means master the animal domain. Don't get rid of your animal nature, but rise to your highest spiritual consciousness as the high priest. So that was the idea. And that's for every human being. You have 3 brains. You got a reptilian brain. That's your first brain. That wants to devour and destroy everything.
That's like survival of the fittest.
Then you have what we call the monkey brain. The monkey brain is flight or flight. Right? Fight or flight. That's reasoning, you know. But then you got the front lobe. And that's where deductive reasoning and logic comes in, and spiritual connection to the cosmos, which most animals don't have. Okay? So that's the difference there. So they understood that we had an animal nature that wanted to devour. The idea is don't get rid of it. Master, learn to control it. Because there might be a time when you need to go lying on somebody. Prehistory mean before history? I don't understand that. Okay. The Kemet is here, so that should just say that sometimes they'll say all kingdom. We don't even use the word kingdom because then that, where's the woman at? The ruler in ancient Kemet could not even be the ruler, and that woman put him in there. So we call it the first golden age. This is supposed to be the old period now. Every name here is in Arabic or Greek. During the time that this was in, there was no Arabic and there was no Greek. So you're thinking you're coming to a museum to be educated, right? You bring in your little ones, you figure, oh yeah, we're gonna get some education today. No, you're coming to get bamboozled.
Right.
A museum is a trophy case of white male domination. I'm gonna say it again, I didn't stutter. This is a trophy case of what, we're gonna take your stuff. Look, they got the whole temple. In your face, and you can't do nothing about it. Come and see what y'all used to look like. Come and see what the clothes y'all used to wear. Come and look at the language y'all used to speak. Now you speak in our language, wearing our clothes, and we educating you so you don't know what in the heck is going on. Tony Broderick would say, in broad day, we're going to hide it in broad daylight because we got control of your mind. So I'm just trying to just show you, everything is wrong here. No Greek, no Adam. In the early period, before Nama, they used to bury the dead back into the earth, in the fetus position, like you're in the womb. So if you can see, the bones are arranged like they're in the womb, in the fetus position. They would put you, and they would put your favorite bowl, your favorite chair.
That's similar to the Chinese.
Right, that's where they would do it. So you'll see that. Later, as we began with the great rulers and the priestship, then they began to do sahu, which you would call mummification. Okay. This call this the Nile Valley. When you look at this picture, you can realize and appreciate the Nile Valley. Mountains on both sides of the Happy River.
It's for the dead people in there.
The green part is where the Nile overflows. The ancient name of the Nile is Hapi. It is the longest river in the world, over 4,160 miles long. Okay. And this green water, when it overflows, there's three sources to the Nile, three major sources. One is the Blue Nile, which comes out of Mount Choka, Ethiopia, the highlands of Ethiopia. It winds and twists, and then at Khartoum it meets the White Nile. The White Nile comes out of Uganda, from the headwaters of Mount Rwenzori. And then there's the third mountain of the moon, which is Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania, which feeds the underground water. But then there's an Atbara River, which is also a contributor that also comes from Mount Choka in Ethiopia. And then at Khartoum, the two waters meet, the blue and the white, and then it just becomes the Happy River and flows over 4,000 miles into the Wedgie Wur. The ancient name of the Mediterranean was called the Wedgie Wur. I know these names sound, but I need to say it so that you hear what our ancestors said. The Wedgie Wur means the Great Green. So that's the name of the Mediterranean. The Great Green. Let me just say this here. You're going to see, these are artifacts from the very first period. And you see they're made from mud and clay. But now you're going to see something very different. So all of a sudden, these are kind of like mace heads. Those three there. They're different. These are stones chipped off. This is what we call diorite. Diorite is the second hardest stone on the planet Earth. Only diamond is harder. Diorite is a 9.0. They tried to tell you that the ancient Kemetic only had copper tools. You cannot carve that with copper tools. You would go bam, and you have to fix it. Bam, you have to fix it. Okay, you wouldn't get nothing done. So I'm just trying to show you the ingenuity of the ancient Kemetic. And even today, the Wazungu are not, they have no clue on what's going on. This goes back about 1,000 years even before ancient Kemet. You see the boats and stuff going up and down the Nile River. So this was the early artwork. That's good. But there was nothing like this no place else on the planet except for on the African continent. This is jewelry that they found inside of the tombs or the graves, because in the early part there weren't no big tombs, they were just graves. And this is where, when you saw that person in the fetus position, 6 foot under, that's where the concept of 6 foot under comes from. Because you have some tremendous scavengers, like the hyena, the vulture. So if we just put you 3 foot under the ground, no, you get dug up, bro. You be saying, is that grandpa's leg? You know, because they will dig you up. You know, so 6 foot was already safe. Okay, so this was bone jewelry, jewelry made from beads and stones. This is diorite again. You can't carve this bowl today unless you have a laser. And look at the holes, perfect on the inside. They're trying to convince you that the same person that did that out of mud did that.
No way.
Okay. So these are heirlooms from another golden society. Ancient Kemet is feeding off of another golden society in ancient Kemet in Africa, older than Kemet. Because Kemet starts out almost full blown. We haven't reached technically where they are now.
And we advanced.
6,000 years later. At this time, this was the largest building in the world. Major Khufu, about 100 years later, will build the largest structure until the 19th century. Now, they use mastaba. No, it's per ankh wasir. And that's a holy, divine temple. So, mastaba is an Arabic word. Nobody in ancient Kemet called their tombs mastaba. That's Arabic. It means bench. So it means that they look like a bench. So this is an afterthought. So that's why you need to know the language, because they're not even going to try to tell you the correct one. They're assuming you don't know no Mudu Necha. They're assuming you never even heard the word Mudu Necha. So they can just put up anything here and you'll go for it. Well, here in the dynastic part, they began to build these homes for the deceased person. In each room, there was a compartment. The body went in one room, his favorite chair, tools, his favorite bowl, those things that he would like, because they believe life is eternal. Now let me make this statement. Life is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. You are not your body. You are your consciousness. Your body is just a container. How many people have ever had an out-of-body experience? Almost half of us, okay. If you were your body, you couldn't have an out-of-body experience. You are your consciousness. You're down looking down at your body. You know? So I'm just trying to just show you something. When you in the dreams, the fifth dimension is not a physical state. Fifth dimension is beyond the physical. And it's possible for you in your dreams. Responsible for returning Amen back to the main nature of ancient Kemet. And then the 19th dynasty got rid of all of that and started with you. This is Amen. Here he is wearing the blue crown. But if you look, this is the hairstyle of the African warriors. They memorialized the hairstyle of the warriors.
Kush, right?
Ancient Kush. So those little circles represent coils, nuts. That's just knots. That's not just circles there. That's a design. Okay, but I want you to pay attention to this. 19th dynasty here. Look at the style now, totally changed.
Wow.
The pleats. Now sometimes people are not ready when I talk about this. Remember I talked about how a pyramid can change your energy? Well, certain pleats done in a certain way with certain connotations change time. You were able to time warp. Some of the priests were able to move through time and things of that by using by their clothes and their meditation and the words. So it's like being in a special outfit. Even now the military have clothes they can put on, they cloak you. You can't see it.
Right.
So a lot of time when you see that big thigh, that was a constellation symbol.
Right.
Not that they was having the thigh of the bull, you know, for dinner. So after the 19th dynasty, you start to see this on the body. Before that, you never saw that. So again, you can see certain statues, and I know what time period this is. If you look straight, that temple was taken block by block from Egypt and brought here. They said it was a gift. But be like, I want the temple. Yeah, you can have it. Okay, the gun to your head. Okay. Even though it was done during the Ptolemy era, and you're going to see some very crude Mudu Necha, I won't even call it. I'm going to show you some hieroglyphics. But the science was still intact. So if you see that symbol at the top with the Ra, that's called the baguette. That was introduced by Metropolitan during the Second Golden Age. It meant that you were victorious. You were defeated, set within you. So that means that you know yourself. So when you, in order to enter that temple, you had to know. That's where the concept "know thyself" comes from. It's written on all the temple walls. We're going to walk around. They would slice it. So in order to make paper, you don't need any. All you need is a sharp knife and the sun. They would strip it in slices, lay it down crisscross like that in the sun, and then lay a heavy stone on it, and the sap from the would be the glue. You don't need no tools, just a sharp knife, and you can make paper. Then they would take the top and use it as a broom, or they would weave it and make rope and stuff out of it. So every part was used. Plus, if you had an area that it was not fertile, and they would plant papyrus, and it fertilized the land.
Wow.
You see them throwing poison here, trying to wish for immortality like the Necharu. This is the Greeks and the Romans trying to imitate our stuff. So you can slightly see the difference, but you notice the nose is still there.
Leave that nose on.
This around 650 in the common BCE, the Persians conquered Egypt, and then you had Persian and then Syrians back and forth controlling Egypt. This was the last ruler before the Greeks and Alexander came in. So this was a Persian ruler who believed in something else, but he was like, I'm not sure about these Egyptians. I think I'm going to do everything that they were doing, even though I don't believe it, just in case. So he had this is his karas, built for him. And that's the Book of Gates on the top, the book of 12 days of night, 12 days. So going through the underworld, resurrecting and being reborn with Nut and Ma'at on the sides. And that's Nut going across, showing you heaven. So even though he was Persian, he had his thing done just like the ancient Kemetic. Now you realize how heavy this is. So you don't want to be the ball bearer also in this one. Okay. But he is the last ruler. After him, Alexander, son of Philip of Macedonia, conquered Egypt, 332 BCE. And then that put it into the Persians and the Assyrians, because Alexander conquered Persia also, and Syria, and all the Middle East area he controlled. And so the Greeks now became the rulers of ancient Kemet. This was done during the Greek period. So what I want you to see, I want you to look. Now you saw how beautiful the Medu Necha was over there? I told you the classical age. Everybody got a chance to see that?
Yeah.
Now I want you to look at this. This is the Greek era. Come close. Make sure you get a picture of that. But look at that glyphs. It looked like your 3-year-old son did it.
Right. Yeah.
It's sloppy. It's not
There's a big difference.
Wow, look at the difference.
Also, they could have brought this. We don't care about that.
So, and now look at the shin. The shin now doesn't even, because see, the Greeks didn't read Medu Necha. So they depended on the Africans to write their stuff in there. So they didn't even put their name in there. They put Per-Ah. That's where the word pharaoh comes from. Per-Ah, the great house. That would be like calling Trump
The White House.
the White House. He's the Trump Towers.
Right.
Okay. So look at the depiction.
Oh, wow.
So,
It's a big difference.
big difference.
Big difference.
But this is when the Greeks came in. Okay. So you'll see on this building the same type of thing. And you're going to see some Italian graffiti, because when the Romans came in, then they start scratching on the temple. So they trying to make believe y'all created graffiti. No. This is the Italians, the Romans coming in.
Leonardo.
So if y'all want to look in, this is, you can take a peek and how yes. We're able to go to the first court. Only the priests can go to the second, and the high priest in the third. This would be a side door for the priest to come in with offerings and stuff like that. Now they just painted that. This is a modern thing they just did like last month or something. but because that wasn't like that.
Whoa.
Oh, it's a light.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't never seen that before. So they're trying to show you when it was finished, what it kind of looked like.
Light show.
It was real important.
So again, the ruler, high priest head, pink granite. This is also a good place to take a picture. So if everybody want to get a photo shot here, the last photo.
When the Nile flood, the building would be, temple would be underwater. That would be underwater.
It lays eggs like a bird. It has 60 teeth, 60 seconds in a minute. 60 vertebrae going down his back, 60 minutes in an hour. The word Sebek means time. But it means that your time is short when you don't do the right thing. Sebek never devours anybody unless you're doing the wrong thing. If you land on the beach trying to get a tan, you're already black, then Sebek will get you. All right? So if you're doing, the key is that if you're doing the right thing, you have no fear from Sebek. You know during the drought season, you should be laying around on the beach. Okay, all right, so this thing, so Sebek understand what he does. When you don't understand what you do, then you're dead. It's clear as that, okay. But Sebek was a divine energy that kept you focused, kept you doing what you're supposed to do, and let you know there is a bad side if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Repercussions, so Sebek. This wall, as we leave, is what's left of Akhenaten's temple. If you go to Egypt today, there's just a hole in the ground where Akhenaten city was. Every museum got a little piece. So this is just the remnants of Akhenaten.
Remnants of Akhenaten temple.
And you'll see now, you're going to see the horse and chariot. You didn't see any horse and chariot then. During the third golden age, the horse and chariot was brought in from the Assyrians and the Persians. That's why people, this is best. The first Haru was Haru Best. So it shows you we always had this connection with the interior of Africa. So the first Haru. If you look down there, you see a row of Sekhmet, the powerful female energy. So that's Sekhmet. She is the daughter of Ra. And Sekhmet, they have a whole lot of legends. Sekhmet, she gets kind of a bad rap. She only, like Sebek, only devours those who are doing wrong thing. She's daddy's little daughter. So when you mess with daddy, you got to deal with her. So she takes revenge on all those who are not doing righteousness. The tale goes that everybody was doing something wrong. So she was just killing everybody. Blood was just all over the place. So she got infatuated with blood. So everybody ran to the Necharu and said, "Ron, you got to do something about your daughter. She's killing everybody." He said, "Well, y'all need to do the right thing." They said, "No, you got to stop her." So he says, "Y'all deal with it." He said, "No, we're not messing with her." They said, "All right, send Jhuty. He's the wisdom." So Jhuty checked out the scene and said, "Okay, she wants some blood. Okay, I'm going to give her some blood." So Jhuty created his magic and turned the Nile River into wine and told her it was blood. So she said, "Oh, blood." Oh, she jumped in the Nile and started drinking and got drunk. Right? Then Jhuty converted her into a black cat. So her ruthless nature was converted to a mild, gentle cat that liked dance and music. Okay, and so that way, today, we say that every woman has at least two sides. There's this gentle, beautiful dance, and then there's the Sekhmet. This is again the last golden age of Sahus, Karas, mummies, and tombs that they just robbed. This is like the 19th, so-called 19th dynasty, third golden age.
That's Dr. Clark's favorite.
And you'll see an offering. You see Mut, Asar, the ruler, giving homage to the Necharu. So this is called the very hard stone. This is Hapi. Hapi is depicted as a hermaphrodite, male and female. So the Nile River is male and female. So he has a beard, he has breasts, he's pregnant, he got a phallus, he got everything. So it's showing you the Hapi River. The water is male and female, can bring forth birth, stuff like that. So that's the depiction of Hapi. This is the ruler. He's the baddest cat in the land. This is his consciousness. Remember we talked about higher consciousness? He is showing you that no matter what my size is, this is how prodigious my mind is, my consciousness. I'm carrying the power of the ancestors. I got their knowledge. He's showing you. When he says, I'm a mighty falcon, he's depicting it. So this is his deeds, his actions, his thoughts, what he represents. We go out into the Greek and Roman section. And again, we end with this one because this shows you what I call operational unity. On this wall, you have all the denominations of the craft. So first, somebody draws the picture. Then you have somebody come along, and you can still see the red, and carve in.
After they drew it, right?
Then you have somebody else who comes in and puts in the detail.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody look at the fine ending. Now, what's so beautiful is all this happening at one time. So that means that all these different people are on this one wall at one time. So what happens is that means all of us would be living together, all the Artesians would be eating the same thing. So everybody's having onions, so we're not worried about people having bad breath. Everybody smell like onions and radishes and stuff like that. So you're eating foods that's going to enhance your skills. We're living together, we're thinking alike, and we're all working for the embodiment of this one jewel. That's what we need as an African people right now. No matter what, we need to be working together, not fighting among each other, not arguing among each other. We need to treat each people like we're divine beings. And once we learn operational unity, then we will liberate ourselves. So if you look over here, you saw those little tiny, remember, everything that was done colossal could be done, because everything was done on the grid. That means that everything could be calculated and be exact. So it wasn't somebody just freestyling. Every detail, because it's done on the grid, I can make it 1 inch or I can make it 60 feet. And everything will be proportionally the same. So, you know, no Fibonacci theory, that's the golden mean. No pi. The Kemetic pyramid, Mirku, you know, so pi, all those phi, all of those are the Greeks learned from us. They didn't invent anything. So a book was a papyrus rolled up. So the modern books that you see today was created by the Chinese. The Chinese created the printing press in the 1200, like 1245. Then the Europeans reinvented it. I don't know if that's a word, real word. But they reinvented it in 1475, 200 years after the Chinese. And then at that point is when you had, right after that, the Bible then was written, created, the first Bibles. Because now we need to shove this information down everybody's throat. But the people couldn't read. So the Protestants created the first church, first schools in Europe. They were Protestant. And then the Catholics didn't want to be outdone, so then they had to create the Catholic schools, which is parochial schools. So that was done early 1500s, because now we just created the Bible, but you can't read. So we got to teach people how to read. So the idea is not to educate you, it's to be able to read this book so that we can continue to control your mind. Romans came, the Romans said, okay, enough of this black stuff. And the Romans closed all the temples and all of that. And then later created what we call Christianity today. These murals on the wall came from palaces, not the tombs, because the tombs actually painted or etched right into the brick. But some of the palaces was plastered and then they would paint. So these are all imitations from things that were in palaces. High priest doing an offering, and you see he's bald-headed. But that wasn't an indication. When you become about, once you get past the wild priest, you can wear your hair any way you want. Here's the high priest with locks. You know, so only the wild priests had to shave all the hair off their body. That's not just their head. You couldn't have bald head and a beard. You had to have no hair on your arms, groin area, your legs were shaven, everything was shaven. Because hair collects lint and dirt, and if you're a wild priest dedicated for purification and cleanliness, you can't have any hair. But you were only maybe a wild priest for 3 months, 6 months, something like that. But once you, like for example, this person is probably a wild priest. And then you see the priestesses, but here's the high priest, you can see him wearing the leopard skin. So he's wearing the leopard skin. If you have the leopard skin, then you're the high priest. And if you notice, even in North America, the priests here wore the jaguar print to look just like the leopard. So even the first ruling families in North America, among the Aztecs, the Incas, were African people.